trans fats are named that because what happens, we take a normal, everyday, good fat, we heat it up, put it under pressure, make it change to go from a cis bond, cis, to a trans is what it is. It has to do with the bond in the fat itself. And the problem with a trans fat is, one, it's not natural. It's man-made. We know that whenever we man-make something, typically it doesn't work out so well because Mother Nature does a much better job. Trans fats show up in baked products. They show up all over the place. They're a fat, so they taste good. They're very cheap, and so companies want to produce them and put them into their foods because they're cheap and they taste good and they make us want more. Trans fats are very negative because they create damage at many levels. They create more inflammation in the body. They create also they get incorporated into the cells. And our cell walls are made of these layers called phospholipid outer layers. And the trans fats actually become incorporated into that phospholipid layer of our cells, of our 100 trillion plus or minus a few cells in our bodies, and become more stiff. And as these cells become more stiff, they're less able to actually adapt and change. They're less able to bring in the nutrients they need and get rid of the waste products they don't want. And a stiff cell leads to a stiff body. And we know flexibility is fantastic and movement is life. And as we lose that movement and flexibility, even on a cellular level, it affects our health. So trans fats, the recommended allowance of trans fats is 0. There shouldn't be any in our diet. Currently, we get quite a bit of it, again, in baked products and processed foods and fast foods. And so how you can look for it is that anything that says partially hydrogenated means trans. If you look on your Doritos, it will say partially hydrogenated soybean oil. It'll also say 0 grams trans fat. That's called fancy lobbying. What happened is they lobbied the FDA or whoever was in charge, and they allow a ½ gram of trans fat per serving in a product and are able to market as 0 grams trans fat. So if it's processed and it's been there and it's not looking like it's meant to be that way, it probably has trans fats because they last so long. You want to read the label. That's really the only way to know. Anything that says partially hydrogenated is going to increase pain, increase inflammation, and speed up aging in your body. I would encourage fats that are clean and simple over trans fats because we know that processed stuff is not the same as the real stuff.